What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and the mainstream media is furious. And you know what? Personally, I love to see it. What has the mainstream media's panties up in a bunch right now, you ask? Well, to put it as simply as I possibly can, the mainstream media is mad because they are losing the grip that they once had on our society. The mainstream media is mad because they are losing the influence that they once had on our culture as a whole. The mainstream media is mad because independent creators are now getting more views and more attention than they are. But it's their fault that things are the way they are now. The mainstream media decided a long time ago it was never about telling the truth. It was about pushing whatever political or social message or narrative that they found to be popular at the time. They became untrustworthy. So people turned to random creators, random internet personalities to get their news because they were more trustworthy than the mainstream media. Yet the mainstream media wants to villainize these content creators as if they're bad people for doing a better job at the job that the mainstream media is supposed to be doing. And this Johnny Depp trial was a real eye-opener for them. Because they had to step back and look around and realize that random YouTubers from the comforts of their own home were raking in more views on their coverage of the trial than any mainstream media network. These random content creators were getting more clicks than any news company you could think of. And they could not stand it. They simply could not stand it because their narrative began to crumble. Not only were these content creators able to get the truth out there about this case, not only were they able to cover this entire trial with more respect for the truth than any mainstream media outlet out there, but they were also able to do it in a way that the mainstream media never could. They never could, and they never will be able to, because they don't understand what the people want. The people want the truth, and they want to feel like they're hearing the truth from genuine people who don't have an agenda behind them, who don't have a motive behind why they're doing what they do other than wanting to get the truth out there. Yet they are attacking content creators now that this trial is over. And I knew it was going to come. We, as in people on YouTube who have covered this Johnny Depp trial, are now the number one targets in their eyes. And my channel is a much smaller channel. So I understand that I'm not one of the ones that's really in the crosshairs here. But to sit here and ignore what is going on would be totally ridiculous for me to do. Because when other people on this platform are getting attacked who cover basically the same type of content that I do, they're basically my coworkers, regardless if I ever talk to them or even acknowledge that they exist. So I don't feel comfortable sitting by while people are getting attacked, because it's only so long before the pitchforks turn towards your direction. And today there was a hit piece put out against just content creators covering news topics in general by someone by the name of Taylor Lawrence. And not too long ago, she actually doxed a social media personality by the name of Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok was someone who is an anonymous person on Twitter, a content creator. Well, you can't even really call Libs of TikTok a content creator. There's someone that just reshares other people's videos and TikToks just to put a spotlight on what's going on within our public school system and how some of the teachers are acting and the type of things they are teaching kids. And some of the stuff is disturbing, in my opinion. Well, Taylor Lorenz took it upon herself to dox this person. And by doxing this person, she released their name online. She found their place of residence. She went all around that person's neighborhood, harassing their neighbors, went to their random family members' houses, harassing them. You know, this person's family members' addresses got put online, and you name it. And when that happened, I called it out. Because regardless if you agree with the politics or whatever Libs of TikTok, believes in, I understand that some people don't like the account, and that's up to you regardless if you like the account or not. It's important to put a spotlight when these mainstream media outlets come for these independent content creators, because it's only a matter of time before they come for you. And, I tried to raise awareness about that situation a little bit, but it was a pretty popular situation. A lot of people knew that it happened. But I knew then, and I knew before then, but I knew then where we were at. That now we're at a point where you can't be somewhat anonymous online, that people are going to attack you. People are going to attack your loved ones. You name it. If you don't say things that they agree with. Which is why I have been so sheltered with who I am. Within all of my coverage of these stories, I make my videos about whatever news topics, and I never really focus on talking about myself. So a lot of my viewers don't really know me that well personally. But it's because of situations like this, people like this, because I'm one news story away from someone trying to smear my name in whatever big news, company, you know what I mean? Like, I'm one news story away from one of these big news companies coming after me and my family members because they didn't agree with one of my opinions. And that's what's happening here. So Taylor Lorenz is now attacking people who have started making Johnny Depp content or content surrounding the trial. She's come after the Umbrella guy and, other people as well. And it just goes to show how quickly this stuff snowballs and becomes bigger than you think. Because one minute it happens to someone, and it may be someone that you don't like. And you know what? You're like, oh, whatever. I don't like them anyway. I don't like the stuff that they were saying. And then before you know it, you got this happening. I would argue that I'm sure a lot of people who are invested in the Johnny Depp trial hate Libs of TikTok. But guess what? Now the same person who tried to take down Libs of TikTok is trying to take down everyone who talks about Johnny Depp. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that the mainstream media, it's not your friend. I know it has half of this country still believing that maybe, just maybe, they're getting the truth. That maybe, just maybe, the government doesn't lie to us about everything. That maybe, just maybe, these journalists have our best interests at heart. But they don't. And it doesn't matter where you align politically. Eventually, they're going to come for you, because eventually you're going to disagree on something and you're not going to have the right opinion. And it's clear here that a lot of people, at least in the mainstream media's eyes, did not have the right opinion when it came to this Johnny Depp case. And that has just sent them off the deep end. So now they're going to blame content creators for the reason why the Johnny Depp trial got so big. They're going to blame content creators for the reason why Johnny Depp won, as if content creators have anything to do with the jury or with the evidence that was provided. But I want you all to take a look at this article that was written for me. I'm going to go over part of this article. I probably won't read the whole thing, but I just want you all to realize where these people are coming from. This is by Taylor Lorenz at the Washington Post. When the verdict came down in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial Wednesday afternoon, thousands of online influencers scrambled to respond. Twitch streamers reacted, YouTubers posted analysis videos, Instagram meme accounts joked and celebrated Depp's wins. TikTokers broke down the most meaningful moments from the decisions. The videos and memes were just the latest in a tidal wave of content about the trial that dominated the internet for much of the past 2 months. The trial offered a potential glimpse into the future of media, where content creators serve as the personalities breaking news to an increasing number of viewers, and in turn define the online narrative around major events. Pause right here. It sounds to me like this person's jealous. It sounds to me like this person is mad that they work for the Washington Post, yet people are sitting at home more worried about what a content creator on YouTube has to say, as opposed to someone who's supposed to be this official journalist. Obviously, her journalism sucks. And from my experience with this person, she is a total trash human being. Now, I don't have any personal experiences with her, like I haven't met her. But from reading the various articles that I've read of hers, she's a trash human being, okay? She's a trash human being. And actually, when she doxed libs of TikTok, I publicly invited her onto my channel. I don't do live streams, at least not yet. Eventually, I'm going to live stream. But I was going to make that my first live stream. Me confronting her about how she's been attacking content creators or social media personalities. And of course, she didn't come on, as you all can see. But she's talking about how YouTubers are able to define the narrative around these trials and other news stories, whereas that's not really the case. For the most part, we have to acknowledge the facts. There's a lot of fake news networks out there. There's a lot of fake news YouTubers out there. Some of you all watch them. I can see the other content creators that my YouTube viewers watch, and there's a couple of them out there that spread a lot of fake news, some of which were just spreading fake news about that Johnny Depp trial like yesterday and the day before that people watch. I'm not going to call out their name. I don't feel like it at the moment. But there's fake news out there. However, for the most part, from what I've seen and how I handle myself on my own channel, it's never about pushing a certain narrative for me. It's about sticking to the truth, regardless if that truth is the popular truth or not. I say things on my channel that isn't always the popular thing to say. I say things on my channel that often offends people. And I had to realize that if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to cover news stories, that I'm going to have to stick to the truth, regardless of how people feel about it. I believe that my channel could have already been way past 100,000 subscribers if I faked the funk. That's the saying that we have down here, faking the funk. If I faked and acted like certain things were okay, and I didn't call out certain things, and I went along with, certain things, I would be bigger than what I am now. Unfortunately, that's not the type of person I am, okay? Unfortunately for my YouTube numbers. However, I never want to push a narrative. I want to push the truth. The only reason why I'm here is because I feel like I'm needed and other people like me are needed, because the mainstream media is so just terrible. There's no other word for it. They are terrible. And they know that they're terrible. They know what they're doing is terrible, yet they won't correct it. They won't do better. Instead, they'll attack people who are doing better than them, which is what's happening right now. So what I'm trying to say here is, for the most part, I don't think people are trying to push their own narratives. People are just trying to push the truth, at least when it comes to this Johnny Depp trial. Those creators can also bring in major personal profit in the process. In this new landscape, every big news event becomes an opportunity to amass followers, money, and clout. And the Depp Heard trial showed how the creator-driven news ecosystem can influence public opinion based on platform incentives. So, let me ask you guys this question. The viewers at home, were you influenced by my opinions? Were you influenced by other content creators' opinions? Or were you influenced by the evidence? Like, yeah, you maybe heard me or other people talking about the evidence and presenting the evidence before our viewerships. But if I just came here and just presented, a blank piece of paper and I'm like, hey guys, this is what this paper says. And you're looking at the paper and you're like, no, that's definitely no writing on it. Would you still believe that there was ink on that paper and that there was something written on that paper if I said it was? No. You believed the facts. It just so happened that you didn't get the facts from the mainstream news networks because they were telling lies. So you had to come to channels on YouTube to get the actual facts. And that's sad that you had to do that, honestly. I'm glad that you all are here. I'm glad that you all are watching independent creators. But it really shouldn't have to be this way. We should be able to trust these people. But we can't. We never have been able to. And we never will be able to. And sooner that people realize that and more people wake up to that, we will all be better off. Okay? Most of the problems we're going through right now in our country and in this world in general, it all stems from the media. Okay? The media is like, it's almost like the arrow, if you will. Like, think of it like this, like an arrow that's just shooting out at you. It's like a preemptive strike. So the media is constantly battering you down before the real stuff starts coming in. It's kind of like archers. If you think of it from like a medieval war standpoint, which I guess is a weird way to think of it, but hey. So, nearly every large breaking news event in the past year has birthed a new crop of online influencers. As the beer bug began its deadly spread across the country, people turned to large health-focused influencers to make sense of it, often falling for dangerous misinformation. Misinformation is a word that I despise. It's a word that I despise because it's their new, trigger word. It's a word to trigger you into thinking that everything is fake, that if someone tells the truth about anything and it's not the news, it must be misinformation. It must be misinformation. No, the mainstream news outlets totally dropped the ball when it came to the beer bug. They handled it terribly, and that's one of the main reasons why they got exposed for being total BS, and they absolutely hate it. So regardless of what situation goes on, in their mind, it's all going to stem back to the beer bug, okay? Remember that. 10 years from now, when the mainstream media is still trying to attack YouTubers, they're always going to equate it to the beer bug. They're going to always go back to that moment because for them, that was the moment when they know that they fully, the veil dropped, okay? The veil totally dropped and they totally lost control, or the control that they had over a lot of people. Now, they still got a lot of people under their control, but that was like a turning point. So for them, it's always going to be a point of reference, no matter if we're talking about the Johnny Depp trial or what we're talking about. They're going to try to stem it back to the beer bug. When Russia invaded Ukraine, war pages proliferated, and their creators earning thousands by selling merchandise and posting OnlyFans ads. So you're telling me that the war in Ukraine made a lot of people on OnlyFans money? How does that make sense? I mean, I guess. This woman is almost just out of her mind. I could tell you, as someone who covered the war in Ukraine for a couple of months, there's no money in covering that because every video you make will be demonetized because you're showing things and talking about things that they don't want you to talk about. All right? So as far as the Depp v. Heard trial goes, I'm sure it was profitable for a lot of people, but also a lot of people who've been covering this trial really made, not as much off of it as you would think because their videos were demonetized. At least speaking from a personal standpoint, I could tell you that the Depp v. Heard trial was not good for my channel. In fact, it brought my channel down. My channel was doing better before I started talking about it because they put me in timeout and shadow banned all my videos demonetized all my videos and made sure my videos would not be recommended to anyone, and started unsubscribing people from my channel, you name it. We're not going to get into all that right now. When the Depp Heard trial began gaining traction online in April, internet users around the world recognized a fresh opportunity to seize and monetize the attention. Christopher Orrick, a 20-year-old content creator in Los Angeles, has posted dozens of videos about the trial to his more than 1.4 million followers on Instagram across several pages. Personally, what I've gained from it is money as well as exposure from how well the videos do, he said. So they just picked out some random 20-year-old dude on Instagram. I've never heard of this guy. And I'm sure he's never heard of me either. That's not saying that he's like a nobody. I'm just saying like, it just seems like they're cherry picking random people who, when I think of this trial, I wouldn't think of him. I've been following a lot of people's coverage of this trial. Never heard of this guy, but hey, you know, whatever. You can go from being a kid in high school, and if you hop on it early, it can basically change your life. You can use those views and likes and shares that you get from it to monetize and build your account and make more money from it. Meet more people and network. I mean, for one, I think they're hyping this up to be a little more than what it is. But for two, what's so bad about that? If you're able to network with people and things of that nature, what's so bad about that? Is that not what the mainstream media does? Is that not what the business world is about? Networking with people and trying to become more successful? Yet it turns out they don't want people like independent creators to be successful. So when you're successful as an independent creator, you get demonized. Like you're a bad person for receiving some money for the work that you put in. You know, meanwhile, we got Taylor Lorenz making God knows how much, money for writing shitty articles like this one. But she wants people who spend hours a day actually putting good content out there, actually being truthful with their coverage of cases, to receive nothing. The content creator Alec Mazika earned $5,000 in 1 week by pivoting the content on her YouTube channel to nonstop trial coverage and analysis, according to Business Insider. So what? If they made $5,000 in 1 week, good for them. I mean, yeah, they could send me a couple of dollars. I didn't even make that this month, but damn. If they make $40 million in a week, what does it matter to these people? Why are they so upset that people are making money for the work that they put in? And if it wasn't for the mainstream media and people like Taylor Lorenz being so bad at their jobs, these people would not have the need to step up and do this. No one would be coming to YouTube to watch these channels for their news coverage if they could rely on the newscasters who were supposed to be doing the job in the first place. So they made their bed, and now they have to lie in it. That umbrella guy, of course she could not wait to name him. His name was actually brought up a few times in the trial. That umbrella guy, an anonymous YouTuber whose entire channel is dedicated to pro-Depp content, earned up to $80,000 last month, according to an estimate by social analytics from Social Blade. That umbrella guy could not be reached for comment. Work said he earned over $5,000 last month on Instagram Reels. So they're basically just bringing up how much money random people make. Albeit, we don't even know if any of this information is true. I can tell you that there's people out there who've tried to estimate how much money I made from YouTube. And there's actually like some videos out there about it. And I find that really weird and stalkerish. But all the information on those videos is totally fake. It's totally fake. So there's pocket watchers out there. Really bitter people who literally live their lives trying to figure out how much money other people are making on YouTube. And I can tell you, I'm not making that much money. I wish I was making the kind of money that they're talking about in this article. But I'm not. And I'm okay with that. But even if I was, or even if these people are making this amount, what is that to them? Do you think that the Washington Post isn't easily making 10 times, 100 times that much money? Do you think that they haven't had their time to shine? Do you think if the Washington Post was actually doing their job, that maybe people would read the Washington Post instead of reading what these people have to say on Twitter? Maybe, just maybe. But you know what? They're not willing to do their job. They're not willing to do the truth or tell the truth. Instead, what they're willing to do is to try to attack you and to take you out. And misinformation is their golden word that they're going to use to do it. Misinformation this, misinformation that. And they got half this country running around here scared of misinformation. What the hell is misinformation? We're all adults here. As adults, you're supposed to be able to weed out what's real and what's not. And if you can't, then sorry for you. You need to learn that as a life skill. When you read some stuff and it doesn't sound true, and your gut tells you it's not true, it's probably not true. A lot of the stuff they label as misinformation is true. And that's why it's so crazy. Because 9 times out of 10, when you hear the word misinformation come into play, it's because someone else is telling the truth and the mainstream media is not. So therefore, the only way that they could combat that is to just accuse you of lying and accuse you of not telling the truth. So honestly, this article goes on for a little while longer, but I don't even want to give it any more attention. It's just more pocket watching. It's just more this woman basically saying that it's so dangerous that people are making YouTube videos about Johnny Depp. Oh, it's so freaking dangerous. How? Why? It goes to show how afraid these people are of the future. Because they know 5 or 10 years from now, if they don't do something, they're gone. They're finished. When you mention Cinema Shogun, mention me as the guy with more viewers than CNN Plus. Because, CNN, they launched this app not too long ago. And it was supposed to be this, streaming service. Like Disney Plus, Netflix, you name it. But it was going to be news content. And it was going to be their newscasters were going to have their own little shows. And CNN Plus was going to be the next big thing. CNN Plus only managed to bring in about 10,000 viewers a day. I averaged that on one of my videos. I put out 3 videos a day. I officially now have more viewers than CNN Plus. And that's why these people are sad. That's why these people are angry. Because a guy who just started making content 6 or 7 months ago is pulling in more views than CNN. And they can't stand it. And I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. And I'm just a small new YouTuber. I have nowhere near the amount of views and subscribers as these other channels. But it's just a testament as to where we're going in today's society. And it's all because of them. It's all because of what they did. It's not because of us. I think for the most part, a lot of the people that you see covering these news stories and covering these topics, if they felt like the mainstream media was doing a good job of it already, they probably would be talking about other things. The only reason I got so invested in what was going on in the world is because I realized, hey, we're being lied to about everything. And I do mean everything. So if I could use my voice to somehow make other people realize that, then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to continue to do it. And I don't care how YouTube feels about it. I don't care about how Taylor Lorenz feels about it. And I'm going to cover whatever story I want to cover. But from here on out, people need to realize, if they haven't realized already, and I realized this a long time ago. I realized this before I even stepped into the YouTube game like this. This is the reason why I stepped into the YouTube game. It's because I understand that our freedom of speech is under attack. I understand that this is a new day and age. We can no longer trust the mainstream media. And the media is going to do their best to shut us down. They're going to do their best to silence us. And this Johnny Depp situation just shined a gigantic spotlight on it. Because now people are realizing it doesn't matter what your political belief is. It doesn't matter what side you're on. eventually something's going to come about, and you're not going to see eye to eye with these people. And once that moment comes, they're going to try to axe you out. They're going to come after you. They're going to attack you. And it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse from here. And I thank all of you all for supporting my channel. I thank all of you all for supporting whatever channels you've supported along the way, wherever you got your truth from about the Johnny Depp trial. As long as it's not one of these channels that purposely spreads fake news. But I've been going off on a long enough rant here. I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you on the next video.